Welcome to the American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th Anniversary podcast series. In this commemorative series, past presidents and other leaders of the American Nephrology Nurses Association will provide a rich history of the association itself and of nephrology nursing as a specialty nursing profession. The American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th Anniversary podcast series is brought to you by the Nephrology Nursing Journal, the official journal of the American Nephrology Nurses Association. We are honored to present this episode, and we hope you enjoy these invaluable and enlightening nephrology nursing recollections.
Hi, my name is Beth Ulrich. I'm the editor of the Nephrology Nursing Journal and a past president of ANNA. Today it is my honor to interview Caroline Counts, who served as president of ANNA in 2003 and 2004. Caroline, I want to thank you for talking to us today about nephrology nursing.
Thank you, Beth. It's exciting to be given this opportunity.
So let's start at the beginning of your nephrology nursing career. When and how did you become a nephrology nurse, and what was your first nephrology nursing job?
I began my career in nephrology nursing on August 23, 1970, when I was recruited to the dialysis unit by Dr. Arthur Williams, who's our local nephrology guru. And to be honest, it was the hours that attracted me the most. At the time, I often worked 3 different 8-hour shifts within a week and had only every third weekend off. The dialysis unit offered an improved schedule. Little did I know that nephrology nursing would become my passion, and I would remain in this field throughout my nursing career. The unit had 3 stations and was located in Medical University of South Carolina. I was hired as a staff nurse to perform acute treatments and to train patients with chronic kidney failure to do home dialysis. At the time, there were no outpatient facilities, and funding for treatments was hit and miss, mostly miss in our geographic location.
Tell us a little more about nephrology and nephrology nursing and ANNA at the time of your presidency.
When I served as ANNA president, which, as you said, was 2003-2004, it was a challenging time. And one of the biggest challenges for nephrology nursing was the nursing shortage and recruiting new nurses to the specialty. The brochure, Discover Nephrology Nursing, was developed and was intended to attract student nurses, new nurses, and seasoned nurses to nephrology. ANNA stepped up its efforts to represent nephrology nurses and join Kidney Care Partners, held its first ESRD Education Day, and subscribed to CapWiz. The association was well on its way to making our voices heard and our opinions sought. Within the organization, transparency, open communication, inclusiveness, and financial stability were very important.
I also remember when you took the presidency and in my role as editor asking you what you wanted to concentrate on during your presidency, and one of your answers to me was back to basics. And then after that, you ended up editing the core curriculum for ANNA. Talk a little bit about the back to basics and the experience editing the core curriculum.
Serving as editor of the core has been, and is an amazing journey. And it is a lot of work, I'm not going to lie. What I call the core team, the chapter editors, the authors, the reviewers, and the incredible support staff through Anthony J. Jannetti, our management firm, has been incredible to work with. I have especially appreciated the work of Claudia Cuddy, our managing editor. The core is definitely a team effort, and I give that team all the credit. I always want to make sure that we include basic information in the core curriculum, because it does serve as an orientation instrument in getting nurses into nephrology. Over the years, the subject matter, the things that nephrology nurses need to know, has grown and expanded tremendously. So the core has to cover a lot more material than it did when it was first published. But it's still very important to me that we include the basic material, that framework that nurses can build their knowledge upon.
I'm going to back up a little bit and ask you to tell me some of your favorite nephrology nursing memories from when you were first starting as a nephrology nurse, or maybe a little further down the road. What were the things that really stick with you as memories from that time?
You know, one of the things that really sticks with me was it was the year right after my presidency that I attended an American Nurses Association meeting and discovered that nephrology nursing was not recognized as a specialty area of practice. That was unbelievable to me, and I decided it must be corrected. How could we attract nurses to our field if we were not even recognized as a specialty? So it became a quest. I found out what we needed to do and gave you a call. I elicited your help in the process, and that was complicated, and you agreed to help. So in June of 2005, the application was submitted, and nephrology nursing became a specialty area of practice. And more importantly, our scope and standards of practice were recognized, which adds value to their weight.
It also gave us a seat at the table, I think, when ANA was calling the specialty organizations together, right?
That is correct. But I have thoroughly loved nephrology nursing throughout my career. It offers so many opportunities to meet and work with incredible patients, staff, as well as providers. I admire the patients more than anyone. If I ever thought I was having a bad day, I would just look around and see these incredible people facing so much more than I was, and my whining would immediately stop. Nephrology nursing provides many opportunities for professional growth and development and leads to many deep and lasting friendships. And involvement in ANNA is one of the best ways to make those things happen.
So, Caroline, I don't know if you remember, but I certainly remember when you called me to ask me to run for regional secretary for the Southeast region, because had you not done that, I certainly wouldn't have done some of the things I've done in nephrology, and I very for sure would not have been as involved in ANNA as I was. So I owe you a great deal of thanks for that, and I appreciate it.
Beth, I am touched that you even remember that. But you know, it brings up an important point. You never know what effect reaching out to a respected colleague or to someone whom you see potential will mean. Please know that I am certainly not saying that I led you to accomplish all that you have. You would have had a stellar career no matter what. But what I am saying is that we should never miss an opportunity to reach out and encourage someone to take the next step in their professional development. As you know, you have gone from editor of the FACHE, the Southeastern Region's newsletter at the time, to editor of the Nephrology Nursing Journal. Who knew? You know?
Yeah, I had forgotten that was my first editorial job, was editing the FACHE for the Southeast region. So that's a good memory to have. Yeah. Thanks for that. Tell us about your career after your presidency. What did you do after? Did you stay in nephrology nursing? Obviously, you went and did the core and things like that. What did you do after your presidency?
Well, towards the end of my term as president, I retired from Dialysis Clinic Incorporated after having been employed there for 30 years. And that within the next year, I was asked to work part-time temporary as the research coordinator for the Division of Nephrology at Medical University of South Carolina, working with clinical trials. I returned to serving on the Nephrology Nursing Certification Commission and assumed the role of president from 2011 to 2013. And then in 2014, 8 years later, I retired again to enjoy the role of Grammy. And it was at the National Symposium in 2017, after a little wine, I agreed to be considered the role of editor for the 7th edition of the core curriculum, a role I continue to enjoy today. Grammy and editor, it's a great combination.
Sounds like it. Before we end, what short message or thought regarding nephrology nursing, past, present, or future, would you like to share with our listeners?
I just think that nephrology nursing has so much to offer us as nurses, professional nurses, as people, all of it. It just is a good outlet for us. And I have thoroughly enjoyed my career through the years. And I think it provides opportunities for all of us if we want to get involved and to grow.
Caroline, I want to thank you for your service and leadership as president of ANNA and for allowing us to interview you. We very much appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. It was my pleasure.
The American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th anniversary podcast series is brought to you by the Nephrology Nursing Journal, the official journal of the American Nephrology Nurses Association. This series is owned and produced by the American Nephrology Nurses Association. All rights reserved. No portion of this podcast may be used without written permission. For archived episodes of this podcast and to learn more about the American Nephrology Nurses Association, visit the association's website at annanurse.org. You can also subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, our hosting site Spreaker, and other various podcast delivery services.